If there's anything that we've learned over the last decade plus in our own workouts and nutrition, as well as in coaching and personal training of the clients that we've worked with, is that diets don't work.
Yep. So today we are going to be talking about what you can do instead of a diet to help reach your fitness goals.
Yeah. So before we hop into the podcast, guys, if you are looking for great supplements that you can use as an extension of your diet to support your training, go check out our Fit Grind supplement line. We currently have an electrolyte and a whey protein powder that you can use to fill in the cracks of your nutrition and supplement your diet.
Yeah, our protein powder is a great source and easy way to get in added protein. It's easy to digest and it has minimal ingredients and it tastes really good. And then our electrolytes also have potassium, magnesium, and sodium to keep you hydrated. A lot of times people think water is the end all be all, but when we supplement with an electrolyte, it's going to help us stay hydrated.
Yeah, if you would like to check out our supplement line, you can use the code GRIND15 for 15% off your first order at fitgrindformula.com. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, I'll leave the link in the comments and description below. With that said, let's hop into the podcast.
Let's hop into it.
So today's podcast, we're going to go through what you need to be doing to either build muscle or lose weight. Diets don't work. They're not sustainable. So we're going to tell you exactly what you need to be doing instead of a diet.
Yeah, I think this is a super hot topic considering that when you hear the word diet, everyone thinks of restriction. And that's kind of what we're going to focus on today is why diets, AKA restrictive diets, don't work.
Yeah. Your diet is essentially just the food that you're eating. It's the food that you eat throughout the day, the food that you eat on a typical basis. And a lot of times people think of a diet as like a really short-term solution for their problems, whether it's to build muscle or to lose weight. And I think that's the biggest issue to start with is like when you're looking for these really quick fixes or you're looking for these like 30 days, I'm going to cut out everything, no sugar, no alcohol, no nothing. When you start to really condense the time frame and expect that you're going to see these amazing results in that time frame and then it's just going to stick around forever, it's setting unrealistic expectations from day one. So I think there lies the biggest problem. We kind of dive into that and why that doesn't work. And, you know, we work with people every day that are people that are trying to lose weight, that are trying to build muscle, whether that's in person, in a one-on-one setting, in a group setting, in our online training that we do. We are constantly helping people try to set more of a lifestyle around their workouts, around their nutrition, and practice things that they not only can do for 15 days or 30 days or 8 weeks, things and habits that they can do and consistently replicate day after day, week after week, month after month, because there really lies the progress that you're going to make, not these like really quick fix diets and super low calorie 20-day cut type of thing.
Yeah, the term diet, I really don't like that term because when we hear that word, a lot of people like cringe. And like we've talked about over and over again, we are trying to create something that will fit to your lifestyle and that can be sustainable for short periods of time. So when you do go into a calorie deficit, this should be something that is sustainable for just a short period of time. And then you can jump back into your maintenance. So if you tell yourself during my calorie restriction phase, AKA diet phase, I cannot have any more chocolate, then you naturally are going to crave those things more. When we tell ourselves we can't have something, it's like all we can think about. I mean, that's for me, for sure. I don't know about you, but
for sure.
If I'm like, no cookies, like I want the cookie like even more and I want 5 of them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if you can set yourself up for success by saying, okay, I know I'm in this deficit, but I know I have these specific foods that I'm just not willing to give up. Where can I fit these in so that I can sustain this diet?
Yeah. So yeah, I think as far as diet, we're talking about what is it that you eat? What is the makeup of the food that you typically eat? And I think a couple of the biggest questions that you need to ask yourself, one is, what is your goal? We talk about this in many videos, and this is the first thing that we talk about with clients is, what are we trying to accomplish in the gym? Are you trying to build muscle? Are you trying to improve your performance in the gym? Are you trying to lose body fat? Are you trying to lose body fat and build muscle? Like, what are the specific goals that you have? That's going to play a role in our nutrition. But then also, I think a big question that a lot of people need to ask themselves too is, what is your readiness to start a workout plan, a nutrition program, a quote unquote diet? What is your readiness? Where are you at with that? Are you somebody that just wants to clean things up a little bit and focus on some habits? Because that's not wrong. You know, we have a lot of clients that see amazing results just by cleaning up the diet a little bit, structuring more whole food into their diet and focusing on a couple daily habits. I mean, I've had a client that's lost 80 pounds by not tracking macros at all, you know? So you can do it, but then again, if you're looking to really optimize your program and you're like, I'm eating most of my food around whole food 80 to 90% of the time, I'm ready to start tracking macros and count calories and all those types of things, that's great. You know, you can see great results doing both, but you have to find what you're ready for. You have to be ready to add that into your life, because it is something that can be stressful. It's an added stressor in your life. And if you are somebody that is maxed out right now and you're really struggling with the workouts in the first place, adding more stress on top of that plate is only going to make you crumble. It's only going to make it harder to stick with the program. So don't think that there is one diet that fits everyone. There is one amount of calories or macros or anything that fits each individual to see the best results possible. It really is so individualized. And that's really what we try to do with the people that we work with, is create structure and customization to the workout, to the diets, whether that's in a one-on-one setting like we do at the gym here at FitGrind, or that's in an online training capacity. But those are two big questions that you need to ask yourself that are going to take care of a lot of things and answer a lot of questions in the beginning.
So today we're talking about why diets don't work. And I want to touch a little bit on a reason that comes to mind for me specifically is the obsession of dieting. So sometimes dieting, quote unquote, can be something that people dive too hard into. And then they go so below calories that it actually can do the opposite effect. And like you mentioned too, this puts stress on your body, but then when we're obsessing over it and we're staying in these deficits for too long, it adds more stress. And then the more stress that we add, the more weight that our body just wants to hold on to, because it's like, what the heck? I'm so stressed right now. I don't know when you're going to feed me, and you're not feeding me enough. So there can be an unhealthy relationship with diets and people, and it can become very obsessive. And that's why, one of the topics I want to touch on as far as the main topic here being diets don't work is because a lot of people get too obsessed with it. And and like you said too, you can get results by just making small changes. Tracking your protein. If you're somebody who comes into the gym, you've never lifted a weight before, you've never talked about macronutrients, that would be like the first step, is getting you to work out, getting you to move your body, and getting you to track your protein, and then tracking your water and making these small adjustments, and you will see changes in your body right away.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, how many people and how many of our clients in the past will have them track their protein for a day, and they're getting like less than 100 grams or even sometimes less than 50 grams. And you're like, hold up, this is something we can change today that is going to make such a big impact on your recovery, your ability to come in and work hard because you're not just debilitated and super sore all the time, and your ability to literally build muscle and build strength and increase your metabolic rate because you're building muscle and just burn more calories at rest. So that's a great point. Like, that's typically where we start with people. If you're not ready to count calories, that's okay, or count macros. Focus on your protein. Just make sure you're getting adequate amounts of protein. And a good place to start is like 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. It's going to be different for different people and their different goals, depending on what they're trying to do with their workouts and their nutrition and their specific body composition goals. But that's a great place to start. Another thing that we'll focus on is just drinking enough water. Like, make sure that you're getting half your body weight in ounces of water. Those two things right there. And then also another tip that we tell our clients too is just get 3 servings of vegetables every day. If you eat enough protein, you drink enough water, and you get enough fruit and veggies every day, those foods, yes, are very healthy for us and they're nutritious, but they're also very filling. And that is going to take care of so much of those cravings that we get when we start to diet, versus if you are low in your protein, you eat 0 vegetables, and you drink about 2 glasses of water a day, then yeah, you go on a diet and you're going to be so freaking hungry that it's not going to last. So again, no matter what the diet is, those are 3 very easy things that you can do that should be in your program, depending on if your goal is to build muscle or lose fat. Those are 3 things that you can easily do today that are going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, and that's going to help with inflammation too, because those are like the first things that we see as far as changes, is like a lot of inflammation goes down when we start eliminating those processed foods. We start eliminating alcohol, sodas, things like that. Not to say we can't ever have those things, but when we start replacing those things with better options and more water, that inflammation decreases for sure.
Oh, for sure.
So another thing that I'm thinking of as we're chatting too is a lot of people come in and they say, I want you to tell me exactly what to eat. And I
hate
think
this.
I know.
I hate this.
I think this is such a big topic too, because as much as I want to tell you guys like, hey, this is what I eat, this is what works for me, I know that if I told Jordan to eat exactly what I eat, that he would be miserable and unhappy. Well, we kind of like the same foods, so not a good example, but
we eat the same thing basically.
Yeah. Yeah. But if I told someone else, they might be like, well, I don't want to eat toast every morning, or, I like to have my protein shake concoction, and, so for me to tell people what to eat, it just doesn't make sense, because if you have specific foods that you like and you enjoy, I always tell people, you can incorporate those foods. You just have to make it fit in your day-to-day life.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, if you're trying to build muscle and optimize that, I mean, yes, you can still build muscle while losing body fat. We've talked about that in previous podcasts before. We see people do it every day here at the gym. But if you're looking to optimize specifically building muscle, that's your goal. You need to be eating more calories than your body's burning. You need to be in a caloric surplus. You can still build muscle at maintenance. You're just not going to build necessarily as much muscle, or you're not going to optimize it. If you're looking to optimize body fat loss, you need to be in a caloric deficit, eating fewer calories than your body's burning. So within that, when we structure macros, your carbs, your fat, and your protein, you have a specific amount of carbs, fat, and protein that you get every single day. And I would say that, imagine like that's the amount of money that you get to spend, and say you get 200 carbs, and this is just purely example here, 200 carbs. As soon as you spend those 200 carbs, you don't get any more carbs until tomorrow. You're going to pick very healthy, nutritious foods that are going to fill you up inherently. You're not going to go pick donuts and cookies and ice cream, but on occasion, you can fit those things in as long as the macros line up. And I think this all speaks to what we're trying to talk about, is your diet cannot be so restrictive to the point where it's like, man, I can't stay with this. This is really hard. Or, oh, I want a cookie so freaking bad, but I can't because my diet told me that I can't. Have the cookie, fit it into your macros, and realize that you are going to lose the same amount of weight that if you ate those carbs and fat from avocado and sweet potato. Like, it's yes, you want to structure most of the food around those whole food sources, but any diet that says that you can't have sweets ever again, like, that's not a sustainable habit. That's not realistic for most people. Some people are able to do that. And, we've both been there where, there were years where I went without eating anything, any sort of dessert or sweet. But I'll tell you what, it's not worth it. It's not sustainable. And you don't see any better progress from doing so. Just still, the main point I want to make here is, at the end of the day, if you have X amount of protein, X amount of carbs, X amount of fats for whatever your goal is, you need to get that to line up. You need to get that to add up to your protein, your carbs, and your fat. Structure most of the food around whole food sources 80 to 90% of the time, but the other 10 to 20%, you can still have fun with those calories. Find ways to make your favorite treats a little bit more healthy or a little less less calorically dense.
Yeah.
Enjoy maybe a dinner out with your significant other, or your family, or have a drink every once in a while. Like, you can still fit those things in. That's what's going to allow you to see the progress that you want, because you're going to be able to adopt this as a fitness lifestyle that you can continue not only for 30 days, but for 90 days, for 6 months, for 12 months, for 5 years, and then for the rest of your life.
So we want to do our best to stay on track and make sure that we plan ahead for success. But we all have those days where we eat that whole pint of ice cream and it was an accident.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we have to carry on and just try to get back on track. Sometimes people, they fall off the wagon and then they're like, forget it. I'm just going to be fat forever. I'm just going to eat cake and ice cream for the rest of my
I'm gonna
life.
be skinny forever. I'm never going to put on muscle.
Yeah.
If
Whatever.
you're on the opposite side of the spectrum where you're trying to build muscle. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever way you go. But the idea is to allow yourself those slip ups and keep in mind that, you know, we may have those slip ups, but you need to get back on track the next day and continue with your results continue with your, you know, fat loss journey or weight gain, whatever it is, body recomp. So just keep in mind, stay on track. Don't allow those slip ups to, you know, over complicate things. Just keep going through the motions.
Yeah. I think there's so many people that let that derail their progress and it just snowballs. And, you know, we're not sitting here saying that we're perfect. Like, we eat 80-90% of the time, we eat whole foods. I mean, throughout the week, we pretty much eat the same thing, from the point that we like the food that we eat. Like, I love eggs. I love whole wheat toast. I love chicken, sweet potatoes. I love those foods. I like to eat those foods. So that also helps, you know. That's to your point that you were talking about earlier. Structure your diet around whole food sources that you specifically like, and you're going to be able to stick with it more. But also from the point of, like, it's just simple. Like, when we're here at the gym all day long and training sessions is busy, like, we just need we need simplicity. Yeah, we need something we can replicate. So the other 10 to 20% of the time, like, we will go out to dinner every now and then. Typically, we'll go out with our kids, and it's like the same thing all the time.
They even said that the other night. They're like, Chipotle? We always go to Chipotle.
We always go there. Spin Pizza? Oh, we always go to that place. I mean, when you like what you like, I mean, just why change, you know?
Yeah.
But we do eat those foods. I want you to really realize that we are not robots that, like, only eat chicken, rice, and veggies for the rest of our life. I've been there. I'm telling you, it's not all it's cracked up to be. So eat whole foods, fuel your body, but the other 10 to 20%, it's okay. Like, you're going to still see great progress. We'll do Halo Top ice cream a lot. You know, it's very easy to fit in the macros. Like you said, you can eat a whole pint of ice cream for like 300 calories, 300 to 350, depending on the flavor. We'll find ways to make treats. We're more of like sweet tooth. Yeah, that's like, if we're going to eat something, it's typically going to be that. We don't like to go out and drink a bunch of alcohol or like do a greasy burger. We'll do pizza every now and then, but our thing is like, me and Alyssa bond over sweets. Like, we have a love language of food sometimes. Yeah. So we still eat those things. We still structure those things into our diet. And when maybe we're trying to, like, really be strict a little bit, like maybe like for a wedding, like we both were really strict and trying to dial things in a little bit. We wanted to be the best versions of ourselves. That's where we kind of get a little more restrictive, but we would still fit those things in. But your day-to-day life, realize that this is a lifestyle. Set habits that you can sustain and stop stressing if you make a mistake or if you slightly go over your macros. Like, just find something you can replicate and really fall in love with. And I think it really helps to also fall in love with your training too as well, where nutrition and training, they go hand in hand. And when you're focusing on getting stronger in the gym and trying new variations of exercises or trying progressed variations, you're trying to get stronger, you're trying to get faster, you're trying to get more cardiovascularly efficient. When you're focusing on those things in the gym, you start to see your body change, you start to see the scale change, and that's when it really turns into this positive flywheel. And I think that's the whole point that we're trying to get at this podcast, is find a way that you can get into this positive flywheel of fitness. It's not an easy 20-day fix. It's not just this really restrictive thing that we only do for 30 days. You want to be a functional human at the end of your life and throughout your entire life and be able to go do the things that you love. But that all starts by the choices that you make today in and out of the gym.
Yeah, I think we both have been on one side of the spectrum, and now being on the other side, I can see a lot more clearly that, you know, those times that I missed Thanksgiving dinner and brought my own Tupperware, those times that I missed going out with friends because I couldn't sit with them because I didn't want to smell their food and want to, you know, eat that. Granted, I was doing a bodybuilding competition.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It's a little
specific.
different.
Yeah.
But I think it's best to plan ahead in those situations. So if you know that you're going out with friends, decrease the calories throughout the rest of the day, maybe add in some more movement for the day. There's lots of little things that you can do to tweak that so that you can allow yourself to do those things. We only have one life, so I would hate to spend it in a room isolated with a Tupperware.
Oh yeah, definitely not. So
of tuna.
Tuna and rice and veggies.
Broccoli.
Yeah, it's not a way to live, I promise.
Yeah.
So we hope this podcast helped you guys wrap your mind around what it really means to diet, quote unquote diet, and maybe a little more guidance around what an actual diet and a fitness lifestyle looks like. You know, we want to make sure that this is something we can sustain and repeat over the course of our life. And if you guys are looking for more structure, and if you're looking for more specific tailoring to your workouts and your nutrition, we do also offer online training. So I will leave the link in the comments in the description below. You can go fill out a form. They'll set your goals and what you're looking to achieve, and then we can set up a time to chat further about those goals and how we can help get you there. That is something that we have a gym here in Nebraska, and we help people one-on-one and in small group training and nutrition coaching here, but we're limited to the amount of people that are located here in Nebraska. So if you'd like to start working with us, we'd like to help out any way that we can, get you to whatever it is that your goal is.
Yeah, thanks for joining in today, and we'll see you guys next week.